that there's a crew in town. The head hillbillies are making their rounds. Small town whispers loud and clear. The sheriff shot the judge in his chambers chair.
Sheriff got a secret he won't keep. Judge shot dead in his disbelief. A lot of people have some stories to tell. Dark pass away, get the sound of a shotgun shell.
All the secrets spill on down. Voices loud in this old town. From the courthouse to the ground. Rumors fly and they can't be bound.
Neighbors hide behind their blinds. Whisper tales of troubled minds. Skeletons covering the mountainside. A treacherous reality in the pines.
Winter reveals the hidden lies. Moonlight couldn't mask their cries. Shadows caught in sunlit skies. There's no cover, no disguise. All the secrets spill on down. Voices loud in this old town. From the courthouse to the ground. Rumors fly and they can't be bound.
Winter reveals the hidden lies. Moonlight could mask their cries. Shadows caught in sunlit skies. There's no cover, no disguise.
All the secrets spill on down. Voices loud in this old town. From the courthouse to the ground. Rumors fly and they can't be bound.
Hello, good evening, everybody. How are you? Well, Zelmy was on here, but she's disappeared. So hopefully she'll come back. Well, welcome to the show, everybody. My name is Elizabeth, and this is Hillbilly Crime. There she is. There's Sweet Tater. How you doing there, Mommy? How are
I'm
you?
doing wonderful. How are you doing?
I'm good. I finally got myself together. So Mommy has been over at my house today, her and her worker, and they came to help me get ready for next week. We've got a really big week coming up next week. There's gonna be some filming going on next week. So we're all trying to get ready for that. And I'm not gonna say too much about it yet. We'll wait until we get a little bit more what we can talk about and what we can't. All right, y'all. Well. Let's see. Let me get this up here. All right, I'm going to tag Mommy in that and post it. All right, so there was an article that came out in the paper. A couple of the papers, I guess, have been sharing it. Let me get this up here. All right, let me pull it up. So Mickey's attorneys have filed, I guess it's I don't know who filed it. Let's read it and we'll see. I don't know if it was the defense attorneys. I think it was the defense attorneys, the Bartleys. So it says defendant's motion to unseal the KCPC evaluation. So any of you guys who are not aware of what we're talking about, our sheriff, Mickey Stines, our former sheriff, Mickey Stines, he went into the courthouse, the judge's chambers, September 19th of last year, and he shot our district judge 8 times and killed him right in his judge's chambers. And it's been very divisive in our community. You've got some people that support Mickey, and you've got some that support the judge. Now, I think we can all agree that the way that Mickey went about this was absolutely not okay. Right? Like, we don't condone what Mickey did. I don't think anybody does. But here recently, now at the very beginning, right after it happened, you had some rumors that started. The rumors were about the judge's daughter, or about the sheriff's daughter, that the judge had maybe done something inappropriate with the sheriff's daughter. That was the rumor that everybody jumped to, the conclusion that everybody kind of jumped to immediately. And I think it's important to say that the reputation that Judge Mullins obviously had in the community is why that was such a jump to conclusion. All right, so let's read it. Comes now the defendant by counsel, so yeah, that's the Bartleys, and respectfully moves this honorable court to unseal the psychological evaluation previously ordered in this matter for the purpose of use at the August 15th, 2025 hearing. So they scheduled a court hearing for just, so that'll be next week, the 15th. And that is Mickey's next court date. Everybody wanted to know when his next court date was. It's August 15th, so it's going to be next week. But none of us knew that they were going to be trying to use this evaluation at the court date. So Mickey, the judge, ordered a psychiatric evaluation done on him. And they were not asking for an evaluation to be done on his competency. He's competent to stand trial. That they're not disputing that. They're not asking that to even be looked into. So what they were asking the evaluation to do was to go back and see what was going on with him the day that he shot the judge. So I think that, and it's for the criminal responsibility of Mickey Stines. Is he criminally responsible for what he did? Now they're saying that he was under extreme emotional disturbance. So that is what the Bartleys are. That's the defense, mental illness defense, mental health defense, something like that. And remember, I am not a lawyer, okay? I have a master's degree in criminal justice, but that's not a legal license, okay? So I am not an attorney. I am not trained as an attorney. I'm not educated as an attorney. I just have a lot of knowledge because I'm a true crimer, just like you. All right. In support of this motion, the defendant states as follows. Number 1, a hearing on the defendant's motions to dismiss and motion for bond is scheduled for August 15th. So it's a bond hearing. They're going to be taking up his bond. So that's going to be a big day. Oh boy, that's going to be a huge day. What do you think, Mom? Do you think he's going to get bond? Do you think they'll get
No,
a high bond?
no.
No, I bet they do. I bet you they'll give him $1 million bond or $5 million bond.
Well, I don't think they will, but that's all right. We'll see Friday, won't we?
Yeah, we sure will.
I don't see any reason not to. I think they give him $100 bond as far as I'm concerned. He's not going to get out and hurt nobody.
I don't think he would either. You know, I'm really, the more and more that information and the more that's come out, the more victims that have come forward, the more people, not even just victims, the more people that have come forward. You know, some people have just come forward and given us their own personal experiences that weren't as bad as some of these women that we're talking about in these cases. But it shows a character, you know, it shows a history. And so, you know, okay, number 2. A psychological evaluation of the defendant was previously conducted and filed under seal by the court. So what that means is whenever they file something under seal, it's, you know, private. It's protected. Nobody can get it. Nobody can look at it. Nobody can see it, and nobody can share it. I had never heard of anybody having their divorce settlement filed under seal. Have you ever heard of that, Mom? You
No,
probably
I didn't. No,
you're probably not aware
I
much
guess.
of stuff like that, are you? Divorce?
No,
No, I'm not either. But
I never thought about it. I don't know why anybody would want to know, and I don't know why anybody would want to seal it. I mean, it just I can't unless they get a whole big bunch of money and they don't want nobody to know about it.
well, I found it very interesting that our prosecutor, one of our prosecutors, filed their divorce settlements under seal, and so it just makes me curious. Wow, what did you have that was so important that you filed your divorce settlement under seal? What you got to hide there, buddy? All right. Number 3. The contents of the psychological evaluation are directly relevant to issues anticipated to be raised at the upcoming evidentiary hearing. Let me reread that because I didn't understand nothing I just said. The contents of the psychological evaluation, okay, are directly relevant to the issues anticipated to be raised at the upcoming evidentiary hearing. Okay, so they're wanting to use the results of this evaluation for the hearing, the evidentiary hearing. Directly relevant to issues anticipated to be raised. So that means they're assuming that the prosecutors are going to be raising these issues at the evidentiary hearing. And so they want to be, the way that I understand this is that they want to be able to use the results of this evaluation to combat that, whatever they're anticipating that the prosecutors will bring up. Number 4, the defendant seeks to introduce portions of the psychological evaluation at the evidentiary hearing to support his defense and ensure the court has a full and fair understanding of the relevant facts. Wow. Okay, let's see. Was that let's stop sharing that for a second. Let me pull this back up here. So I guess it only had 2 pages. Okay. And the end of it just says, wherefore the defendant respectfully requests that the court enter an order unsealing the psychological evaluation for the purposes stated above and grant such further relief as it is just and proper. Respectfully submitted, Jeremy and Carrie Bartley. It says, please take notice that the foregoing motion to unseal KCPC evaluation shall be heard on August 15th at 1 p.m. or at an alternate date and time the court deems appropriate. The undersigned hereby certifies that a true and accurate copy. Okay, so they served it, or they submitted it on August the 5th. So that was just what? That was just yesterday. So they're going to have a bond hearing. What do you all think? Oh my gosh. Let's see. Yes, put your DNA on our like button, please. It helps us way more than you know. It gets us out to a larger audience of people. I've had several people just recently reach out to me saying that they just now found our show. So, all right. Now, I also have a surprise. I've got several surprises for tonight. So, let me pull up our papers here. There we go. All right. Very, very interesting. We'll go to snipping tool. Okay. All right. Now, okay. Check this out, y'all. Look what we got. We got a drawing of the courthouse. Remember earlier this week, I said we needed a blueprint of the courthouse to understand how many rooms are in the courthouse. Now we've got, let me stop sharing that one because we've got another one. We'll come back to that one. We will come back to that one. Right here. I tried to organize these. All right, here we go. Here's the first one. We want to look at these in order. Yes. Okay. So here's the first one. All right. This shows us the let me take these comments off the screen. This shows us the layout of the courthouse. Okay, so you guys can see my little pointer there. Good deal. So the bottom of the screen is going to be the front entrance of the courthouse. Okay, you've got the foyer. Let me put my pointer on there. So here's the front entrance of the courthouse. This is where we see in the videos Mickey coming in and out of. Then there's the foyer. Now to the left, everything that we're going to be looking at really is going to be taking place on the left-hand side. So right on the left of the foyer, you've got the juvenile court office. Now, I'm pretty sure that that is where Angie Fields is working now, is in that juvenile section. But I could be wrong. If I'm wrong and somebody knows different, please tell me. You know, we don't like to get things wrong. And I know that we do from time to time. So if you have proof, if you can show us, please send it to me. hillbillycrime@gmail.com. All right, so then you've got the juvenile court office. You've got the Senate Bill 90 office. That is the rehab stuff. That's where you've got the preacher man. That's where you've got Michael Clark. That's where you've got this Ison fella that came in from MCCC. So that's Judge Mullins's baby is the Senate Bill 90 office. This program is really what allowed, it was happening before the program, but this program really allowed them to get in bed with ARC. And it wasn't just ARC. ARC was just the first. They were the forerunners. They were the ones that laid the foundation of how they could get all this money funneled in here. That's my opinion on it anyway. All right. And then right next to the Senate Bill 90 office, there's a bathroom. I didn't know where the bathroom was. So that's the little bathroom. And then you've got District Judge Secretary's office. So that's where Rachel used to sit. Rachel was his secretary for a long time. I don't know how many years she worked for him. But then she went on medical leave several years ago, and he just never did get another secretary. I heard that he was pushed several times to get a replacement, but he wouldn't do it. I don't know why, but he wouldn't do it. All right. And there's the hallway. That hallway there is where people enter from the main hallway from the courthouse, and you go into his courtroom there, the district courtroom. And then there's a holding cell and the elevator on the back side. And then you've got the juror room and the smoking room. Now that's where we see the prosecutor in his pink shirt, you know, lipstick on a pig, still just a pig. But then there's a bathroom right next. It's between that smoking room that where we saw Angie Fields and Butler, and you saw Mickey walking back and forth. You saw just all of them kind of sitting around that table in the smoking room. Well, I had said in another video that we didn't know if that chambers room, one of the rooms had to be a jury room. And we didn't know which one it was. We didn't know if it was the so-called smoking room, or if it was where the red X is right here. You see the little red X? The district judge's chambers. So you've got a bathroom right there. You've got the smoking room, and you've got the district judge chambers. There's a short hallway there, and there's the bigger hallway. All right, and then on the back side, it's got the judge executive's office, the sanitation office, property tax office, so that would be the PVA office. And then there's the bathrooms right there. Those are the bathrooms that like you or me would use if we go to the courthouse. Those are the bathrooms that I had in my head that's where Ben and Angie Fields were going, was to that bathroom after work. But I could be wrong. They could have went to the judge's bathroom. It looks like there's 2 bathrooms over here by the judge's chambers. You've got the one next to the Senate Bill 90 office, and then you've got the one there between his chambers and the smoking room. So I'm not sure which one of those that Ben and Angie was doing their dirty, and I don't know which one of those Ben was taking the girls on house arrest. And then on the back side, PVA, bathrooms, and the county attorney office or other miscellaneous. So that would be Jamie Hatton's office. And then there's a storage room. And then there's a break room. And then you've got the motor vehicles, the property deed room, and the property taxes and voter registration. Now, I was told that the brown leather couch, and then that you've got the stairwells on both sides. I was told that there was a room. I guess it would be this break room. But I was told that there was a room right here, over here in the clerk's office, where whenever Judge Mullins first came to the courthouse, I guess maybe when he first became a judge, because he used to have a law office when he was just an attorney before he became judge. And I was told that that brown leather couch used to sit in Judge Mullins's office. I found out that he used to have a girlfriend that worked at the dentist's office. I guess she was a dentist. And she had an office downtown in Whitesburg. And I've been told that there were several times that girls wanted to marry him, and he just was not trying to get married. But allegedly, once there was a baby on the way, they had to get married, which, I mean, that happens to how many people? It's not like it's a taboo. What's taboo is just the age difference to me. Now, to somebody else, that might not affect them one bit. It might just be totally normal, and that's fine. But there are a group of people that feel like I do, that just, it's creepy. I don't like it. All right. So let me pull up this second one. Okay. So here is a second one that we want to look at. Now this one shows us the path, okay? The green arrow indicates, let me get over here. The green arrow indicates the path that Stines took after the pew-pew. purple arrow indicates the path that Stines took re-entering the courthouse. So let's look at the green arrow. Here we go. He starts in the district judge's chambers. We see him in the video go out this door. We still have not seen any video from the time he leaves that smoking room until we see him out in the hallway handcuffed and talking to the KSP. We have not seen any video of him being handcuffed, him being arrested. We've not seen any video of him coming back in yet. All of that video is still yet to be released. So I'm anticipating that at some point. All right, so he goes, and I'm going to tell you who arrested him, who handcuffed him here in a minute. All right, so he goes down the hallway, and then he comes straight down. I think we actually did see some video of that, now that I think about it. I think we saw him walk out the door. I could be wrong, but I think I did, now that I think about it. Anyway, he goes out, and he goes down. We see that video, and then he goes down the sidewalk. Now, nobody has said or told, or we don't have any video showing what he did when he went back that way. We still don't know. In the video, you see him messing with his shirt, with his firearm on his side. And then whenever he comes back, you see him and the preacher. The preacher's standing on the other side. He's over here. The preacher's over here, on the other side of this street. And you see Mickey come back up, and he stops right here on the corner. And he turns, and him and the preacher man make eye contact. They actually stand there and look at each other for a few seconds anyway. But no, neither one of them says a word to each other. They just look at each other, which I just found very odd. If that's your best friend in the whole world, and that's what the preacher got on and said after it happened, he said that Mickey was his best, closest friend in the world, and the judge was his other best, closest friend in the world. So, yeah. And you had just been kicked out of the room, right? We saw, it looked to me like Mickey and the preacher were having some tension between them. I mean, it's just in the body language. I'm not any body language expert, but, you know, we're all pretty much experts in human beings. And that's what it looked like to me. It just looked like they were having some tense conversation back and forth. What about? We don't know. But what if somebody else was involved in this red rum? What if Mickey wasn't the only one? You know? What if something else was behind this? Like, we still don't know what's really behind it. Nobody knows anything for sure. We're speculating 1,000% about just about everything having to do with the shooting anyway. So that's interesting. Let me pull up the last one. All right. All right. So here's the third one. This one. Let's see if it said anything. No, I don't see anything. Oops. Just exited it out. Okay. All right. Now here is the last one that we got. So it says Stines questioned by the state police. Stines makes one single comment. Kevin done me the same way when I was over the house arrest program. Stines is asked to explain what he meant, and he refuses it. Now, that is there in the hallway. Stines follows fellow officers in the front doors. He surrenders to authorities, and he's placed in handcuffs by Justin Hunsucker. Moments later, Sheriff Finance Officer Lashawna Frazier and victim advocate Christine Bowling enter the foyer and tell Stines to shut his mouth. What do y'all think? Mom, are you paying attention?
I am. Well, I'm glad that Justin's a nice boy. And I'm glad that it all worked out to where they didn't have to shoot him.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah.
That would have been a hard decision. Why did they tell him to shut his mouth?
Well, from what I was told, so Justin Hunsucker, is one of our local police officers, and I'm sure they're all pretty close to Mickey. I'm assuming this anyway. And so, I've questioned throughout this, why aren't people more like, what the heck have you done? What'd you do this for? My God, Mickey. Even if they are police officers, this doesn't happen every day,
I always wondered about that too, why people weren't saying, something to him.
Yeah. Well, from what I understand, whenever Hunsucker got in there and he surrendered to Hunsucker, he started to tell him what this was about. He says, Kevin done me the same way when I was over the house arrest program. Stines is asked to explain what he meant, and he refuses. Now, this comes from a very credible source. Okay. So he starts to tell Hunsucker what it's about. But think about this. Think about the quote that he says. Kevin done me the same way when I was over the house arrest program. Who's over the house arrest program? Lena Hensley. Lena Hensley was over the house arrest program. I think she still is now. She is the chief deputy at the jail now. She's been there quite some time, I reckon, several years.
Who was over the house? I thought that guy that was trading.
Yeah, he was, but after he pled guilty and stuff, somebody else had to take.
That might have been who he was meaning, though.
No. So, no, I don't think so. So, we were told, or well, we weren't told. We saw it in the interview. Whenever they interviewed the people that were in the judge's chambers that day, one of those girls told that when Mickey came in that morning, he was upset. He was upset over a domestic violence case. It was an EPO, I think is what he said, or what she said. and they were getting ready to, I guess, he was trying to talk to Judge Mullins about it. We never really got any real great detail about that when we heard it in the interview, but from what I was told, he starts to tell it to Hunsucker, and Lashana and Christine Boland come running up where he's at and tell him to shut up. And they both tell him to shut up. Now, Christine Boland is also the one who voluntarily gave her phone to the KSP. There was something else important about this that I was going to tell. It was something new that we didn't know before. Let me think on it. I'll think of it here in a second. Let's see what y'all are saying about all this. Jenny B says Mama does not look happy to be here. Hope all is well.
I'm happy.
She just can't see very good.
Yeah, that's why I squint. Here, if I put my glasses on, maybe I'll look happier.
State police treating him great for someone who just violently red-rummed someone. Well, and you know, all of this is making sense too. Like the cop that was laughing, the state police officer, where we see the dash cam and he's calling and talking to somebody, and he says, "Somebody just shot Judge Mullins." "You're kidding," he says. And he said, "No, sir." So it's kind of like, you know, they expected it almost, you know. It's just kind of how I took that. And let me say this too. So if Mickey is telling Hunsucker, Kevin done me the same way when I was over the house arrest program. That is not the same thing as they're trying to kidnap my wife and daughter. That's not the same comment. So I don't know. Maybe he did say it. I've still not found anybody saying that he has yet. Was somebody trying to throw that in the narrative in this as like a trying to distract? So that's one of the things that I have found with some people. Since I've started my show, some people want to set you up. Some people want to give you bad information or send you down a rabbit hole that doesn't have anything to do, you know. Well, why do they do that? Why do you think people do that? They do that as a distraction. You're over here and you're getting ready to find out my secret that's right here. You're getting a little too close. So I'm going to send you out that way. What it reminds me of is that rug reeler that I knew back years ago whenever we pulled up next to that state cop and he threw the money through the window. He said, "That's how I get my shipments in." He gives the state cop $5,000 every time he had a shipment come in. And what they would do, plan ahead, is that cop would go on the other side of the county when at the day and time that shipment was going to be coming across the mountain. And they would go on the other side of the county and they would create some kind of a call, you know, assistance call that they need assistance. And so all of the other cops would come to them, where they are on the other end of the county. And so that would leave a clear path for the rug reeler to get his shipment in without risking getting pulled over and getting caught. And that's kind of how I see these people that try and, distract you. You're getting too close to their secrets. And a lot of them don't realize you already know. But they're going to try and throw a monkey wrench, try and throw you off the scent. So, that just makes me wonder, did somebody try and do that with this? I mean, who knows? Who knows? All right. Yeah, it's a little bit late. We're a little bit late tonight too, y'all. My mom's not usually up this late. Kentucky Granny says, if they were my best friend, closest friends, I wouldn't have left, and I would have hollered for help or made a scene if I thought I could save my best closest friend from red rum or the consequences. Man, that's a really good point. That's a really, really good point. And yes, it's been almost a year. A wolf in sheep's clothing. They are all wolves in sheep's clothing. I'll tell you. I have a question about the camera in the so-called judges' chambers. If it was there for court proceedings and use, wouldn't it have audio? It was not there for that use. So this camera was only installed in the judges' chambers after Ben Fields pled guilty to sexually abusing the women on house arrest in the judges' chambers. He admitted in the plea bargain that, let me pull that down. He admitted in the plea bargain that he had sex with Sabrina. Now, the criminal case was only against Sabrina. Now, it originally was against her, or against him for her and Jennifer Hill. Jennifer Hill died, and she died in a very, very suspicious overdose death. Somebody reached out to her. They offered to do some with her, to do an opioid with her. And she was like, yeah. So she goes over there and she goes in, and they go into a bedroom, and there's somebody in that bedroom who's actually doing, like, helping everybody get their stuff. And she allegedly helps Jennifer, and then Jennifer leaves immediately and allegedly goes out and gets in the vehicle with the person that she came with. And as soon as she gets in, I reckon she started grabbing her chest and saying, that wasn't what they said it was. And then the next thing you know, she was dead. They tried to do CPR on her, from what I understand. They did CPR on her. Now, I've heard two different versions from two different people that was supposedly there. Now, one person told me that they did CPR, and that was it. That was basically all they said. What I've heard has come from her family was that it took the ambulance like 3 hours to respond to them having to do CPR on her. Nobody had any Narcan with them. So she died. And from what I was told, that they were investigating her death, but that was it. They said they were investigating it. But you know as well as I do, as soon as they see that OD on there, they don't do no investigating. I mean, it's took an act of Congress to get an investigation into Mickey and Kevin. I very seriously doubt they've really done much because they got the video. That's really all they need. They sure are not investigating anybody else that was in there. I don't think so. Looks to me like here's another clear cut. They got it on video that he was the one that did it, so I don't think they're even looking to see if anybody else could have been involved. I don't think they are. Because if they do, if they start pulling on these threads, you know what's gonna come out. Then they would have to do something. You know, they already look like a big bunch of poopola because they're not doing nothing. You don't have a soul. Not one person has still come out. Not one of our political candidates that have already launched their campaigns. You don't have none of them that have come out and said anything about this. Still to this day, the beauty queen mayor down in Whitesburg, she's a woman. It's not like we have very many women politicians locally. No, we don't. You don't have any women. And you would think that if she was doing such a great job, the Whitesburg swimming pool would be open. That Whitesburg swimming pool has been down for years now, and that thing is still a mess. The roads in Whitesburg would be a little bit better done. And if anybody wants to start talking about the Daniel Boone Hotel, well, I got all the contracts. So we're going to look at all those too. We're not just going to go on hearsay, honey. No, we don't do that. We got the receipts, baby. I mean, I just don't know who you think you're dealing with here. All right. Now, let me see. Here was, let's watch this. This was a defense attorney breaks down the video of sheriff allegedly. This was just an attorney that's talked on it. And I just wanted to hear what he had to say about this. See what an attorney away from here, and it's not really away from here, it's WCYB, so they're a Kentucky station, I'm pretty sure.
You've seen this video. You've seen what happened. Take me through, as a prosecutor, you've been in that situation before. What are you looking at in this video?
Well, the video is the only eyewitness to the crime in this case, and it's going to show the acts as they occurred, and it can't be refuted. But the video has to be taken into context, and what the video doesn't show, or what I haven't been able to see, is to have that coupled with the audio, because what's missing for me as a prosecutor is the conversation between the sheriff and the judge. What are they talking about? What are they discussing? But at the end of the day, it shows that this sheriff picked up a firearm and he shot an unarmed man in his office. And being charged with murder, they're going to have to show an intentional act. And I think this video speaks for itself.
And we've seen the moments leading up to it. What did you see that kind of caught your eye, either as he's entering the office or the moments before the act?
Well, I think what I looked at, what I was taken away from when I watched the video, is that the sheriff waited to go into the office until.
See, you see, look at the look on his face. I don't know if y'all can see it. Let me see if I can. I don't think I can zoom it. Maybe I can zoom it right here. Let me see. Not really, does it? You see the judges. It's only zooming the top part of it, not the video. But you can see the judge's face. And you see the rest of them sitting there. Like, this is just a hangout spot. Like, they turned this into a brothel. So Ned Pillersdorf says. But I think they turned it into a good old boys club, you know. And all these women thought they were hot shit in there. Like this blonde down at the bottom. The reason why none of us knew who she was is because she's part of one of these programs. But watching the video, all of the video that we've seen, she's just way too comfortable in there, in my opinion. She's just way, way, way too comfortable. She's supposed to be in there as a jail reentry program, working a jail reentry program. You've got Ison sitting there in the chair from MCCC. And we found out, those of you that were with us yesterday, you know, the preacher man got a new big job the other day from Beacons of Hope. He got hired on as their director of like community, whatever he was doing here. So basically, they hired him to recruit people to go into treatment. Since he did such a great job for Letcher County Court and ARC, I guess he's the rehab recruitment man. But you know what that is? That's money. That's money, money, money. That's more Medicaid insurances that they can bill. Let's bill Medicaid. Let's bill Medicaid. Shame, man, shame. So, I found out that there was more qualified candidates for that job that he got. And so I wouldn't be, it's not very impressive to me. The man that is the director over that Beacons of Hope now, it said that he worked for like the prison industry, something to do with the prison industry. So I'm sure that somebody's hooked him up with that job. Anyway, I forget where I was going with that. Let's see. So I remember. So it looks to me like Michael, the preacher, who's standing behind Mickey there in his Brother Love shirt. Because they all, you know. Diddy don't, man. Diddy don't. Brother Love. Jeez. Can't help it, y'all. I can't help it. Forgive me. All right.
Those other guests or other employees that were in the judge's office
Now look at Mickey's face.
left. To me, that was a purposeful thing, and I don't know the intent of why he waited. Maybe it was because he was extending a professional courtesy to the judge and expected one himself. Maybe he just wanted to have a discreet comment. I imagine the state of.
So you can tell Mickey and Michael are standing there talking, and that woman who's sitting in the windowsill, She works in Judge Mullins's office, in his courtroom, and you can just, she says something to him there, and you can just tell the tension. You can cut it with a knife.
The Commonwealth of Kentucky will argue that no, he was waiting till everyone left. So it's the subtle things that you have to look at.
See, you can even see his nostrils flaring right there. Y'all get the pull the video up on your own screen and look at it. You can see his nostrils are flaring. And he look at that woman. Look at her hand. Mickey is very upset. Look at the judge's face. Look at the judge's eyes right there. He's like, what the hell is going on? Look at him. Got his cigarette up to his mouth.
That you can assume or you can argue.
And you can just tell. He's like, oh, shit.
Mean one thing, but we don't know because of the audio. Again.
And see, he's grinning. And there Michael is saying something to the judge. Probably, you know, like, oh. I wish I was a fly on the wall, man. I just would love to have been a fly on the wall. I don't know. We was a fly on the wall in those rooms. We might get eyefuls. You might get to see that Big John Holmes, Mom.
Well, I reckon everybody knows about him. The whole county.
Did you talk to somebody today?
Well, yeah.
Okay, tell me, Mommy, tell me.
I was at the grocery store and I said, well, I don't remember what I was talking about last night, I said. And so my friend remembered, and so they told me, and I said, oh, yeah, that's right. And all those people in the store knew who he was.
They
just
knew.
The biggest old laugh.
Well, I didn't say who it was, so let's not out him.
Oh, I thought you did.
No, we just talked about, you know, John Holmes is the Orno-Pay star from like the 70s. So I just call him John Holmes. But
oh, well, see, I didn't understand that.
Oh, okay. But yeah, everybody in the county knows who our John Holmes is.
Yeah.
And people act like, oh, how dare you say it? Well, honey, they've been saying it behind your back for years. So if you're the only one that doesn't know that everybody already knows about you, well, now you do. You know now.
Well,
you are a legend, a Letcher County legend. Anyway, Carrie Sullivan, Mullins has a worrying look. Yeah, I think that there was so much going on right here. So much was going on at this point in time. You had jailer Bert Sloan, who just retired. He got the heck out of Dodge before the depositions and before all this mess hit the fan. And it makes you wonder, why did he do that? Yeah, are you leaving? Okay. I see you, Mommy. I love you.
Alrighty.
Thanks.
Love you.
Bye.
Uh-huh.
Okay. But it makes me wonder, why did he retire? Why did he retire at that time? Like, he could have just continued and served out his time until the next election. but he didn't. He retired, and then they made his brother, who worked for him, then they made his brother jailer. Was that a strategy? Did they do that? So, but knowing that an incumbent is usually harder to beat, so kind of like job security, we're gonna cinch up this jailer job that's $100,000 a year. So we're gonna look at that. I got all their incomes. You want to know how much they all make? We're getting ready.
Conversation. I think both parties are very relaxed, and they appear to be having some type of conversation, albeit it, after the fact, we know that was probably a tenseful conversation that the judge and the sheriff was having. There's something that sheriff saw on the telephone, or something that he had a conversation with someone that apparently turned that conversation in another direction. I noticed that the sheriff got up, he locked the door. I think that's a very key moment as a former prosecutor. What's important to me, because he's keeping that judge there, and he's not allowing anyone else to come in. And I think that's a key thing that I'm going to be looking at a prosecutor.
As a defense attorney now, flipping the script, you're in that position now. What are you looking at here that says that Sheriff Stines, and now he's pleading insanity? Is that a possibility here from what you're seeing in this video?
Well, I imagine the defense, one of the things that they would probably be exploring is that at some point, something happened during that conversation with the judge, or something happened on those phones, on those video phone calls, or when the judge turns over his phone, the sheriff has seen something, heard something, or someone has said something to him that has, as I've always said, it turned the conversation. And so maybe the sheriff went in there hoping to have an adult civil conversation, and then sees or learns of something that just he was overcome by the emotion of what had happened. And so I think there's a partial plausible explanation of diminished capacity. But as a defense lawyer, I'm also thinking that he had an opportunity to walk away. He didn't. He closed the door. He locked the door. And those are calculated decisions that, when you're going to plea insanity, it's not spontaneous. It's not just rapidly unfolding, and you have, he clearly had some control. Now, that's a fact question for a jury to determine, and it's not necessarily a legal gateway to escape what he's charged with, but I think I would have a better opinion if I could put the context into it. Certainly something sent that sheriff off. And certainly he was overcome by something. But I think when you get to whatever happened said, both the state or the Commonwealth and the defense are going to be painting a different picture.
I guess it's not every day or every trial that you get an inside look at the moments leading up to a crime, especially a crime of this magnitude.
Well, no, it's not that often, but let me say this, Liam. As a prosecutor, I prosecuted cases that were criminal defendants recorded their criminal conduct. So as technology has advanced, criminals oftentimes make their own evidence that convicts them. And
how many times have I said that? If they would just serve search warrants on these people's phones, they're going to find everything. They'll find it all. I am convinced of that. How many times Sabrina said in her thing that Ben told her not to ever put anything on the phone. But yet he was sitting right there with her. Right there with her. And he's saying, don't ever put anything on the phone that you don't want seen. Oh, let me make sure I send you that in a text too. I mean, these people thought, and they still do, they think they are above the law. So last night I read a message that I got from a young girl, a very young, pretty girl, yesterday. She just sent it to me yesterday and said that as of June, which was 2 months ago, in June, allegedly, an ex-cop approached her and asked her to go to Tennessee with him and a current very high position law enforcement officer, and Daniel Dotson asked her to go, and if she would go, if she went and slept with him, the ex-cop, and the current big cop, shame on you, by the way, and you know exactly who you are, but both of them, if she would sleep with both of them and maybe Dotson, which everybody knows he's an exhibitionist. Dotson never slept with nobody. He liked to watch. Allegedly. That was his favorite thing to do, was watch. So allegedly, this boy propositions this girl that if she will go and do this with them, they'll pay her car payment for that month. You know what she says? She says, at the time, I had a real good job, and the only bill that I had was my car payment. But I turned them down. She said, but even if I did need the money, even if I did need the money at that time, she said, I still wouldn't have done it. She said, because, you know, it was kind of insulting. And I said, I didn't say it, but I was thinking, kind of? Baby, it is insulting, and it is perfectly okay for you to feel insulted and offended. It's like they've gotten so comfortable with approaching all of our young women. How many of these women have slept with one of these men? How many of these women slept with Judge Mullins? Is there a little bit too much familiarity there? You can tell. You can tell when people have had a sexual relationship. You can tell the familiarity between them. You can tell, and usually you can tell on the woman's face if she's following them around like a little lost puppy dog. And how many people, how many girls and women, they weren't all inmates. These were not all inmates. The woman who came forward, who sent me the message a few days ago, the librarian, she sent me that, and she said, because I want them to know, she said, I want everybody to know that it wasn't just inmates and, you know, underage girls. It wasn't just vulnerable women in that sense. It was also professional women. It was also, you know, women that had credibility. The woman that Mickey Stines had his affair with, she's probably one of the most credible people that I think any of us could ever know. Like, I mean, it's bad that she was hanging out with a married man, but the way that I understand how that happened was he was working at the hospital. Now, we heard in the depositions and all of that his work history. He was working at the hospital for security, and there was a woman nurse who worked there at the hospital, and he wouldn't leave her alone. They struck up a friendship. They talked, you know, became friends, and one thing led to another, you know, and they ended up in a relationship. She's not proud of it. Not proud of it at all. You know, she don't, it's a part of her life that's over with, and she doesn't want to relive it or rehash it. But she said that she funded a lot of his campaign for sheriff. By the time that they were done and that affair was over, she said she was out over $50,000. And she said, I gave it to him. I gave it to him. You know, she said he would call and he'd put on these poor, pitiful me stories, or he's always talking about how nobody ever did anything for him and how he never had anybody and just da-da-da-da-da. And she said he would call and he'd be like, man, I just saw this and this, and it was just so cool. And I didn't have the money for it. And she said, I'd be like, come on up here. Come get the money. I'll buy it for you. I've been there. I've been there where I've been used by people because I had a good job. I've been there. So I don't know. Let's let this guy finish. I wouldn't be a great prosecutor because I don't agree with I don't agree with something that he said when he was talking about that he had saw something on the phone. I don't think Mickey saw anything on the phone. I don't think Mickey saw anything on the phone. I think Mickey was pissed when he went in that office. I think the preacher man let something slip that he probably shouldn't have let slip, or he's told something, or he said something, or maybe something has happened. It doesn't even have to be words. Like, it didn't have to be something that somebody said. It could have been something that somebody did. Could have been something somebody did. We still don't know. My dog Rex. Prosecutor is corrupt and will not subpoena phone evidence. I don't think they will either. I mean, I'm waiting to see. I'm waiting to see. Oh, thank you, honey. Dotson was a Diddy Jr. He was a Diddy Senior, honey. He's the original Diddy Do. And everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. I mean, he bragged about, and it's not just him. So one of the things that old DD would do, these party girls, and I guess they just married them to make them look more legitimate or something. I don't know. I don't know why they married. Like, why are you even getting married if you're not going to be faithful? I mean, it's not even a marriage, really, because you're out with your zipper down every other day with somebody else. I mean, and I'm sorry. I don't know how a wife one didn't know about any of this. I don't believe that. I don't believe that as far as I can pick you up and throw you. No way. No way. It's just too many rumors. There's too many, and we say rumors, but I mean, is it a rumor if it's true? Terry, wouldn't that be over the top if they had a fling in the past? Yeah, that'd be too over the top. So many counties are aware of this and turn a blind eye. Look at our governor. our attorney general. Like there's rumors that our governor, Andy Bashir, is going to run for president. That's what I'm hearing, is that Andy Bashir is getting ready to run for president. How in the hell could you ever run for president of the United States when you have been the governor of this mess and you've turned your blind eye to it? Your daddy's the one that appointed Judge Mullins, and you appointed Matt Butler. I mean, that was the worst pick that anybody could have ever picked, and he's his brother-in-law. He's his brother-in-law. And all the crap that Butler has pulled since he's been in office. What about that oath that they're supposed to take? What an oath. I got an oath here for you. I got an oath here for you. Let me pull it up. Man, you know, you guys, I smell this food in here if it's done. Yeah. Oh, well, why don't you come in here and check it for me? All right. Let me pull this up. Check this out. Now, this is Judge Jimmy Kraft. This is Jimmy Kraft's office or courtroom. Sorry, Jimmy Kraft's courtroom. He is our upstairs court, the circuit court, and his daddy is the one that went to the UK game with his mistress and got caught. And then he married his 70-year-old man with a 20-year-old girl. But anyway.
Support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this Commonwealth, and be faithful and true to the Commonwealth of Kentucky so long as you continue a citizen thereof, and that you will faithfully execute to the best of your ability the office of Letcher County Sheriff according to law. And do you further solemnly swear that since the adoption of the present Constitution, you, being a citizen of this state, have not fought a duel with deadly weapons within the state nor out of it, nor have you sent or accepted a challenge to fight a duel with deadly weapons, nor have you acted as a second in carrying a challenge, nor aided or assisted any person thus offending, so help you God? Yes, sir, I do. And do you swear that you will do right as well to the poor as to the rich, in all things belonging in your office as Letcher County Sheriff, that you will do no wrong to anyone for any gift, reward, or promise, nor for favor or hatred, and in all things you will faithfully and impartially execute the duties of your office according to the best of your skill and judgment, so help you God? Yes, sir, I do. And do you swear that you will endeavor to the best of your ability to detect and prosecute all gamblers and all others violating the laws against gambling? Yes, sir, I do.
Here's another one, guys.
Support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this Commonwealth.
Hang on. I got another one here that I found very interesting. Oops, wrong one. We got another one here. Okay.
Long history of having great judges.
It's Judge Mullins.
It is my pleasure to say that that tradition will continue with Bert Sloan. It is my privilege and pleasure to be able to administer Bert his oath of office as Letcher County Jailer. Raise your right hand.
Now remember, this is Bert Sloan. Bert Sloan is the one who made Ben Fields a trustee. He's the one who gave Bert Fields Brian, or what's his name? Ben Fields, his big screen TV, his big mattress, let his wife come in there anytime she wanted. She wanted to spend the night with him in there in his nice big thick mattress. She could have. Bert Sloan is the one who retired right before the shooting. Very convenient time, wasn't it?
Do you solemnly affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this Commonwealth, and be faithful and true to the Commonwealth of Kentucky so long as you continue a citizen thereof, and that you will continually faithfully execute to the best of your ability the office of Letcher County Jailer in accordance with law?
Look at how these women look at these men that are taking this oath. They're looking at them like, oh, you're such a hero. You're the savior. Come on, man. Come on. After everything we have learned this year about how our local politics go, they didn't earn a damn thing. It's a popularity contest. I know I was lied to for my vote. How many of y'all out there have been lied to for your votes? Yeah. I didn't appreciate that very much.
And do you also further solemnly affirm that since the adoption of the present Constitution, that you, being a citizen of this state, have not fought a duel with deadly weapons within this state, nor out of it, nor have you sent or accepted a challenge to fight a duel with deadly weapons, nor have you acted as a second in carrying a challenge, nor aided or assisted any person thus offended, so help you God? I do swear. All right.
All right. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Sorry, y'all. Just makes me sick. All of it. All of it. All right. Will you go turn that off? Is that done? Okay. As long as it's not burning, it'd be fine. All right. So let me pull this up. I got a few things we want to look at. Man, I found some people sent me some really bad stuff, y'all. Like people that I had no idea were SMEX offenders. Ex-cops that have domestic violence convictions. And mayors fought to keep them. We've got personnel files. We're getting personnel files. How many people were not trained? How many of our patrolmen that they say never went to the academy, never were sent to a lick of training, but yet you all turned them loose on all of us with handcuffs, a firearm, and the authority to arrest us. And how many of them had never even been trained? Never had any training whatsoever? Well, we know that Mickey never had no training. We know that Ben Fields never had no training. And Ben Fields was not allowed to arrest anybody outside of the courthouse. But yet, who turned him loose on all of the house arrest females? How many men were going through the same thing that these women were going through? But yet it was perfectly fine to let him go and pick women up. It was perfectly fine to sign escape warrants. Perfectly fine. And then when he pleads guilty to our wording, 3 women that we know of. Now, he didn't plead guilty to all 3, but the civil suit is accusing him on the behalf of all 3 women. That's just the ones that are in the civil suit. What about all the females before them? That was fine. That's perfectly fine. Just for what he got caught with. But yet we're going to make him a trustee. We're going to give his wife a promotion after hearing accusations of her beating girls up in the jail for sleeping with her husband, who were coerced and R-worded by her husband. But then they get arrested and brought to jail to get a beat down by her. And was it Miss Angie Fields that was responsible for watching Miss Sharon when she lost her life in the Letcher County Jail? Whose job was it to be watching her every 30 minutes? I've heard it was Miss Angie's. What about all the accusations of the beatdowns? What about the responsibility of putting women in a cell together knowing they were getting ready to have a beatdown? Orchestrating that kind of stuff. And then after you've orchestrated it and allowed it to happen, now we're going to charge you. And there is absolutely, and everybody just thinks this is okay behavior. This is perfectly fine. We're going to make him chief. We're going to make him chief deputy. But yet, all you hear is how they just sleep together. They're all sleeping with each other. Everybody's sleeping with somebody. No internal investigations. What about medicine? Who gives out medicine at the jail? Is there a nurse down there that comes and gives medicine once a day, 3 times a day? Or do your deputies do that? What about all the property that's went missing out of the property room from the jail? All the people, the girls who had cell phones when they came into the jail, but yet whenever they were released, phone just disappeared. Couldn't find their cell phones, knowing that they had text messages and stuff on there from the husband. So if the wife is on the inside doing things, getting rid of evidence and stuff like that, is that cool? And there's no internal investigations? There's absolutely no questions asked whatsoever? And anybody would trust a Sloan in that jail? Not me. Not me. And all I can go by is what I've already seen. My opinion is based on what has already happened. Nobody has come out and condemned it. No, you rewarded him. Instead of coming out as a jailer and condemning what he did, saying, we will not put up with this. This is our community's children. These are our community's parents. These are our community's brothers and sisters in this jail. They're still somebody's loved one. Even though some used it like a big Smex dungeon. The people that were in that dungeon were loved by somebody. They were somebody's daughter. They were somebody's mother. And it makes me absolutely sick. Absolutely sick that not one of our candidates has come out and talked about any of this. None of it. They won't talk about how much they don't like me. But you can't come out and condemn our wording, the women on house arrest, or anybody else for that matter. All right, let me pull this up. See what I'm looking for here. Kentucky State Police. Letcher County audits. Let me see here. Gotta think where I put them. Opioid settlement grants. Fletcher Group grant contracts. I guess it'd probably be in both of these. Okay. Here's one. I found them. All right, guys. Can you see it? Let me zoom it up some. All right. Whitesburg Daniel Boone Hotel stabilization. Let's look at this. It's a procurement grant issued by Jessica Razor. All right. Let's see. For 38 East Main Street, Whitesburg. The contractor, the City of Whitesburg. City of Whitesburg. Contract amount, $1 million. All right. Project start date, June 7th, 2017. Completion date, May 31st, 2020. The grant funds in the amount of $1 million shall be used by the City of Whitesburg to design and construct a roof replacement, conduct demolition, clean up moisture and mold mitigation, and stabilize structure and update Hudson Strategic Partners study. That, I think, is a little bit more than just clean up. Whoever you were that wanted to put all that and speak your piece. Here's your receipts, baby. Here's your receipts. Okay, Whitesburg Daniel Boone Hotel stabilization. Federal agency, the Appalachian Regional Commission. Basic federal agency, the Kentucky Department for Local Government. CFDA title, Appalachian Regional Development. Award year, 2017. This is 2025. So, Do you think we should have the work that this said was to be done with that $1 million? I wonder what the paperwork shows. I would really like to get a hold of the receipts that shows what work was done with that $1 million. Okay, let's look at the disbursement of grant funds. Authorization promptly after the Commonwealth has received from the recipient 2 fully executed copies of this agreement and has approved evidentiary materials required by Exhibit D of the agreement that would allow a draw of grant funds pursuant to the terms of Exhibits B and C of this agreement. The Commonwealth shall authorize the amount of grant funds specified in Exhibit A. Okay. The recipient is authorized to draw grant funds only in accordance with the provisions of this agreement and the procedures established by the Commonwealth. No payment by the Commonwealth of an improper or unauthorized draw to the recipient shall constitute a waiver of the right of the Commonwealth to challenge the validity of said draw, to enforce all rights and remedies set forth in the agreement. All right, so let's go back down. Incurring costs for project activities. The use of grant funds is conditioned upon the recipient incurring costs to be paid in accordance with this agreement or as otherwise approved, except as permitted by 24 CFR Part 58. No cost to be paid out of the project funds may be incurred by the recipient until all environmental conditions of 24 CFR Part 58 have been fully satisfied and Commonwealth has issued the environmental clearance required by CFR Part 58, 24 CFR. The authorization to incur costs in subsection 1 above, is not an authorization to reimburse those costs and does not mean or imply that such costs will be reimbursed out of grant funds. The recipient may voluntarily, at his or her own risk and upon his or her own credit and expense, incur costs as authorized in subsection 1 above, but his or her authority to reimburse or to be reimbursed out of grant funds shall be governed by the provisions of this agreement. Okay, so let me explain to you what my experience was. My experience was you had a whole bunch of people that sat on a board of directors who had absolutely no idea what the hell they were doing. And they apparently thought that as long as they got the money, then they could just do whatever they wanted to with it. Within reason, of course. But whenever I found all of these misappropriations, things that they were not allowed to be doing, but they just claimed ignorance. And the more that I tried to explain it to them, the more that they got upset. Because then, once they know, then they can't claim ignorance no more. But nobody wanted to know. Nobody wanted to know. UK didn't want to know. UK was our grant funder. They didn't care. They didn't want to know. Nobody wanted to know. They wanted me to just shut up and go away. That was my experience with a grant. All right. Let me stop sharing that one and we'll move on to the next one. All right. Let's look here. What we got? Commonwealth of Kentucky contract modification. This was July 11th, 2023. Now we got almost $4 million. Oh, yeah. Okay. Memorandum of Agreement, nonprofit 501c3. This was the opioid settlement funds. Original contract amount, $3,672,353. Increase amount, $200,000. New contract amount, $3,872,353. So they got $200,000 more than they originally got. This modification is to add federal comprehensive opioid, stimulant, and substance abuse program grant funds to provide for clinical assessment reimbursement costs for eligible individuals with a behavioral health disorder and qualifying low-level charges. Let's zoom this up so you guys can see it. Now, all of this opioid settlement money, whose pockets is it going in? Because it sure as hell ain't going into mine. It sure ain't going into yours. Whose pockets it going into? I think it's going into Van Breeding's pockets. I think it's going into MCHC's pockets. I think it's going into MCCC. I think it's going into the city of Whitesburg. I think it's going into a lot of people's pockets. Let's see what it tells us, if it tells us whose pockets it's going into. Assessment reimbursement costs for eligible individuals with a behavioral health disorder and qualifying low-level charges, an alternative to incarceration and further penetration into the criminal justice system. So this money went in. Did this money go into the district court? Did it go into Letcher County as a whole? So district and circuit? I don't know. Let's find out. But that's a whole lot of money. Almost $4 million going into the court system. Is it for our jail? Well, our jail doesn't even have a stove. They can't handle cooking for our inmates. The Sallyport's roof, the ceiling, did y'all see in that video of the Sallyport whenever they transported Mickey from the Letcher County jail? The whole ceiling's nothing but holes all through it. Nobody ever thought to fix anything. What about all of just the disgustingness of the Letcher County jail? Can't go to maybe fix the water, maybe fix the drains. You know, those women had to dig all that stuff up. And heck, the night that I stayed there, the water fountain was running the entire night I was there. And what did the girls say? It had been running the whole 6 months they had been there. You know what a jail toilet looks like. The bottom of it's a toilet, but the top of it's like a water fountain, like a drinking fountain you'd have at school back in the day. That's what the top of it's kind of like. Well, the whole time for 6 months, that water's just pouring out the top of that toilet. I mean, I know it was there when I was there. And the girls that were in the cell said that it had been that way the whole time they had been there. And one of the girls had been there 6 months at that time. Just blows me away. Blows me away. And I'd love to know how much they paid for their water bill. I looked at some of the sheriff's department or some of the jail's stuff. I don't think it was the same year. The one that I saw was like 2022 or something. And the year that I was there, 2018, I guess. 2018. I graduated in 2018. Yeah. So it would have been 2018. I would like to know what the water bill was for, I guess it would have been 2017, maybe. I don't know. But that would be. And who paid it? And did it even show? If it didn't show, then that's something. Okay. The following commodity line and accounting line have been added. 200,000. The scope of work has been updated as follows. Related documents and materials incorporated by reference language has been added. Pricing and invoicing. The local contract amount has been updated. Certification or business associate agreement. Certification regarding debarment, suspension, ineligibility, involuntary exclusion, lower tier covered transactions. Vendor name, Fletcher Group, Inc. Vendor contract, Dave Johnson from London. Marion Johns to the current boilerplate. I don't know what that means. All right. Extended description. The Department for Behavioral Health, Developmental and Intellectual Disabilities requests to contract with Fletcher Group, Inc., FGI, to support implementation and evaluation activities of the Behavioral Health Conditional Dismissal Program, mandated by Senate Bill 90. Got almost $4 million. The services FGI, and that's just one grant. The services FGI shall provide to support the program include staffing, pilot-wide screening and assessments, and data collection and reporting. For $4 million? Oh, okay. In addition, FGI shall administer behavioral health provider agreements and provide training and technical assistance for behavioral health providers. Funding 100% agency funds. Wow. Kelly Webb, Dave Johnson. $200,000 assessment funds. Administration and financial management. Well, there you go. Our money at work that all of us got for them. Happy they've got such high salaries. They've all got such big salaries. All right. This modification to provide for clinical assessment reimbursement costs for eligible individuals and qualifying low-level charges as an alternative to incarceration and further penetration into the criminal justice system. Scope of work. An indirect rate is not allowable for the Federal Comprehensive Opioid Stimulant and Substance Abuse Program. Grant funds in the amount of $200,000 and identified as TNB1. The total contract amount has been updated. Deleted. A business associate agreement has been determined to be unnecessary for this agreement. Exemption. The initial MOA is effective from 2/23 to 6/24. Administrative overview, purpose and background. The Behavioral Health Conditional Dismissal Program is Sorry, y'all. Oh my gosh. My cat knocked me out. Took forever to get back on there. I'm sorry. Kitty, you want to come say hi? I got 5 of them. Sheesh. Yeah, sorry, y'all. Okay, let's get back over here to our thing. Here she comes. Oh, well, that's Miss Kitty. All right, let's get back over here to our okay. So where I was at whenever this kicked off was right here. Eligible individuals may receive treatment and recovery support services to address their behavioral health disorder, including outpatient, intensive inpatient, residential treatment, educational and vocational services, and housing assistance. How many of you all out there have gotten housing assistance from the opioid settlement money? Because I don't know nobody that has. I don't know anybody that has gotten any of the money, any benefits from this money, other than going to your regular doctor. Like, this is talking about MAT treatment. Now, I'm sure they also offer abstinence. I'm sure they do. But it doesn't have great numbers. Like, if you look at the success rate of abstinence, it's like very, very low, especially for long-term recovery. We're not talking about 30 days, okay? What that does is get people killed. You take them off, you get them clean for 30 days, and then you set them up for failure. They go back out and relapse and they die because they've had that 30-day clean time. Their bodies are not ready whenever they go back out and they relapse. Their bodies are not used to doing the amount that they were doing whenever they stopped. That has unalived a lot of people, a whole lot of them. With MAT treatment, you don't see that. You just don't see that happen ever. And one thing about Suboxone that a lot of people don't know, whenever they created it specifically so nobody could ever OD on Suboxone. Your body the human body will only absorb 32 milligrams of the buprenorphine at one time. That's the most your body will absorb. So if you end up taking more, and that would be 4 pills, if your body of an 8 milligram pill, which is normally what people take, if they took more than that, your body's only going to absorb that 32 milligrams of it, and the rest of it is just going to be wasted. So that, by me having such a great doctor, whenever I first got on it, and he explained so much of this stuff to me, it helped me not ever abuse it, because I knew beforehand that it wasn't going to do no good. Right? Why waste it? Why would I waste my medicine? Right? But you got people like Breeding down there that all he cares about is abstinence. I mean, he ain't the only one. It was every doctor around here. They weren't gonna hurt their pretty reputations to prescribe it to anybody. No, they were not doing it. And they sure were not going to hurt their reputation, their business's reputation. But now, all of a sudden, they're treatment, recovery. Oh, I mean, it's Listen, it's a used car salesman. You got people like the preacher man, and that's who they want. That's who they want. I'd love to see how much money he's making. I'd love to see what his salary is. I'd love to see it. Show us. Show us, old Clarky Poo. Show us. I tell you how much I make if you tell me how much you do. All right. Furthermore, successful completion of the program would result in the dismissal of eligible charges. This pilot program will operate within 11 counties selected by the Chief Justice of the Kentucky Supreme Court. The pilot program sites are Kenton, Greenup, Letcher, Clark, McCracken, Davies, Pulaski, Madison, Oldham, Hopkins, and Christian counties. The program is the result of legislation signed into law, I'm sure it was, by Governor Andy Beshear, following the passage of Senate Bill 90 in April 22. I would love to see if this was all a big plan, if this was all planned out. How far back do we have to go to look at what they were creating with Senate Bill 90? Was Tim Robinson involved in any of that? I would love to know. I would love to know, because that would show how they had planned this. All of them got rich beyond belief, didn't they? The Department of Behavioral Health, Developmental, and Intellectual Disabilities is the state mental health authority and single state authority for substance use services, and is responsible for the administration of state and federally funded behavioral health prevention, treatment, and recovery support services throughout the Commonwealth. But I just find it so funny that those are the people that they hire and that they listen to, are people that were completely against this from the very beginning, like Van Breeding. The people, even the director of the Office of Drug Control Policy back in the day, Operation Unite, Tom Vicini, all of them, they were all against Suboxone. They were. I mean, and they can't say that they weren't, they just can't. I've spoke to all these people for the last 10 years. A lot of my memories are popping up on my Facebook now. Like, I shared a couple of the Bible studies that I'd done back in like 2017. And I'm grateful that, the Lord put it on my heart to record a lot of that stuff and share it. And so now being able to look back on it and see how many years I've spent fighting that bunch down there. And only because, why? Because you want to become an advocate for people. You want to become an advocate for people who are less fortunate. Well, that's what happens. No good deed goes unpunished. All right. I'm not going to read all of that. We read enough of it. Let's go look at the next one. Let's see. Now here is another grant. Let's see. Let me get this. We'll close that one. And we'll close that one. Okay. This one looks like it's about the same thing. The Fletcher grant, but it's a different, it's a SB 90, the Senate Bill 90, Recovery Residence Support Service. So this one was almost $1 million. Previous contract amount was almost $1,956,222 for nonprofit, the Fletcher Group, once again, and they're in London. The behavior, oh, let me read this. So the previous grant contract was almost $1 million, and then current contract amount is the exact same, 956,222. This modification is to extend the contract through year 2026 to continue, so that's next year, to continue meeting legislative requirements to develop a qualified recovery housing provider network and establish and implement a reimbursement mechanism. See, all this is all how it works. Reimbursements, all this and that. So I had a lady reach out to me that said that her husband worked for Terry Adams back years ago, when he was judge executive, and this man that worked for him was doing some work, and they were working on a project, one of these grant projects, and she said every time they would like need something or whatever, allegedly Terry would say, well, go ahead and get it, and then we'll reimburse, we'll take care of it at the end of the project. We'll do all this reimbursements and stuff. And she said we weren't familiar with grant work. We weren't, experienced in this kind of contract work before then. And she said she regretted it big time. They're married now, but at the time they were just boyfriend and girlfriend or fiance. They were engaged. And she said by the time the end of the project got there, they had charged $38,000 on their side of it, and it was never reimbursed by Terry Adams and the fiscal court ever. I don't think that they told them what to do. She said that he would just be like, okay, well, you go ahead and get that. You go ahead and do this. It was really informal, like they're out on the job sites and stuff. And he's like, oh, well, you go ahead and get it, and I'll make it right with you later. Y'all better not ever fall for that, because that's exactly how they get free labor. That's exactly how they get free stuff, Oh, well, I'll settle up with you at the end. We'll set you go ahead and do it. Well, do you think that might be how all those millions of dollars in donations and flood money might have happened? I mean, who knows? But it seems very, very wrong. And it also sounds to me like he knew exactly what he was doing. That's what that sounds like to me. And the guy never worked for him again after that, of course. I wouldn't work for him ever again either. Anyway. All right. So the behavioral health conditional dismissal program is designed to provide eligible individuals with a behavioral health disorder and qualifying low-level charges an alternative. It sounds like it's the exact same thing, doesn't it? Eligible individuals may receive treatment and recovery support services to address their behavioral health disorder, including outpatient, intensive inpatient and residential treatment, educational and vocational services, and housing assistance. Whose housing assistant are they assisting? I'd like to know that. Whose housing are you assisting with this money? Where's the educational and the vocational services? So does that mean that this grant money is paying for people to go to school? Are they graduating? How many people have went to school? How many people have graduated? I want to know both numbers. I want to know long-term success numbers. That's data. Well, that was part of the reason, or that was part of what the $4 million was given to you for, was to give us data. Can we see that data? I don't see it nowhere. Okay, so we'll stop that one. Now, what's this other one I got? I think here's another one for Senate Bill 90. Now, how much money is that so far? So we just saw that one Daniel Boone Hotel, the $1 million one. There's a lot more money that came in for the Daniel Boone Motel. That one was in 2017. And it looks to me like that $1 million was supposed to do a whole lot more than what we see is done. So, where'd that money go, honey? Can we see the paperwork? Can we see who did the work? Was it Chris Cottle? Was Chris Cottle? Was it his construction company that did the work on that? I don't know. I'm asking the question. That's why I'm asking. Or was it Chris Collier? Did Chris Collier do it? I heard Chris Collier had a contract with the county doing some kind of cleanup work or something. I'm not sure exactly what he's doing, but I see him sure driving around all the time in his brown truck with his campaign sign on the door for his wife. He retired as a social worker just in time to run her political career. And every single time she goes to a fiscal court meeting, his mug is sitting in the front row. You can't talk to her without him being right there. So I kind of feel like is he the one that's really running? Is she just the face? Is he the one that's out here buying votes? Cutting people's grass? Bargaining? Negotiating? Making them promises? Do you need gravel, honey? We'll make sure that we'll put gravel on your cemetery up there. I mean, that's the usual promises that everybody gets. They get lots of gravel for the road. But it seems to me like all these promises that go to people, like the promises that I got were lies. Because after they won the election and I voted for them like a big dummy. Yeah. You come down. If I win this election, you come down and we're gonna work on all these ideas you got. Or that happened. Yeah, it sure did. Thank you, Connie. Thank you, Connie. Thank you. Let's see. There's my baby. That's my little troublemaker. Let me have her. Oh, there's my little baby. There's my little baby. You're supposed to be looking this way. Hey, look over here. See, look how cute I am. Look at her. Okay. No. This is the little rotten one. She beats up all the adult boys that we got. They're all fixed. I fix all my animals. But she beats up the boys. Don't you? There's that sweet little thing. And I got 5 of them that don't go outside ever because they die if they go outside. So I take really good care of my kitty cats. I clean my litter box out 15 times a day. All right, let me get down here. I think we've been on here over 2 hours. That'll be enough. I got lots more for this week, y'all. We got a lot of big stuff coming up. A lot of big stuff. Friday, we're going to be on with Fish. So Friday we'll be on Fish's channel. His show's always at 7:30, but I will, as always, share the link so you won't miss it. And yeah, they need to be accountable for all the flood money, among other things. But it seems like that already went underneath the rug, and they're already on the flood of 25. So all the money and the mess ups and the mistakes of 22, when 25, the flood of 25 happened, it was all over again. All over again. All the pharmacies that sold Oxy started selling people Suboxone after they got busted. That's all right, honey. That's all right. Old Biscuit's gotta go. His old lady's all hollering at him. Investigates when reports are made that money isn't spent appropriately. Well, I would like to see more investigations because I don't think there's been any done here in Whitesburg or in Letcher County. Who's doing it? Because the way that I see all of these audits and the paperwork and everything that they're putting in, well, you can't tell hiding the hair of it. And that's exactly what the audits came back with is, you don't have any separation of duties. And the way that everything is done, there's no way to even detect waste, fraud, or abuse. There's no way to even detect them, let alone make somebody pay it back. Like if a mistake had happened and they accidentally put money into the wrong account or, something like that. A reasonable mistake. Well, who would ever catch it? The same person that made it? Because that's who's doing the checks and balances. The same person who makes the mistake in the first place. Or the intentional act. Who's to say? Are you going to put your trust in that bunch down there? That whoever comes forward and says, I give you my word, it's all there. That word ain't worth much to me. Bring a little bit of proof with it, then we'll talk. People lie way too much. Way too much. So I had an attorney I talked to an attorney not long ago, and they said, and you know, they've been in legal practice for a very long time. And lawyers, the legal circles around here are very small. So that community is going to be very small. Well, one of the things that which we already know, but one of the very big things that they like to do is swing. I had no idea there was as many swinger clubs as what there are in this area. They've got a big one right across the state line in West Virginia. And apparently, a lot of our locals here who are swingers, they like to go over there a lot. And they hang out with each other. The lawyers all hang out with each other. They become friends. And they do things together that is just shameful. Shameful. Absolutely shameful. The fact that so many allegedly been flaming cokeheads is just unbelievable to me. Unbelievable. You've got a few who were never users. Never users. But yet they may have a whole big freaking bunch at their house for the girls. So you're going to turn these girls on to this stuff and then let them get arrested down the line. You know what I'm saying? Like, you are creating now what you're getting all this funding for. I mean, you can't create the problem and then benefit and profit from the punishment. Just my brain can't comprehend it. How they can lay their heads down at night and know that they have deceived an entire community about who they truly are. Lay your head down at night tonight. I guess that's why they're so scared every single night that this show goes on. What did she find out? What's coming out tonight? Is it going to be me? Whitesburg got $3 million in April. And I'm pretty sure that was for the Daniel Boone Hotel. I don't know if I have any more of those contracts. I'll have to look. I had a whole bunch sent to me, so I thought I did have more of them. So I'll look, and if I've already got them, we'll show them tomorrow. And if not, I'll be digging for them. And if any of you guys have anything or want to be a digger for us, if you are good at public records requests, I'm not. I don't even try because I don't think they'll give them to me. And I'm just not even going to waste my time. All right, y'all. Yeah, 5:30 comes early. I'm sorry, Kentucky Granny. Thank you, Jesus, for another day, being able to come together in your name, Lord. Jesus, 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 Jesus. I love you so much. And Lord, I am just humbled. I'm absolutely humbled at your favor, at your grace, at your promises, Lord. You've never lied. You've never lied to me. Everything that you've ever told me, Lord, you have come through tenfold. I love you so much, Lord. I thank you for saving my soul. I ask that you'll forgive me for my sins. Keep forgiving me for my sins, Lord. Remember me, Jesus, when you come into your kingdom. I am no better than the thief on the cross, Lord. I fall short every single day. I know I could do better some days, and I don't. I just pray that you will remove anything that's in my heart that's not of you, Lord. I pray that you'll remove the resentment out of my heart, Lord. I pray that you'll remove anything in there that is keeping me from being able to have that peace inside me. A lot of this is really difficult to listen to, Lord. We just pray that you'll go before us, that you'll help us to understand a lot of this stuff. I pray that you will reveal what the devil has been trying to hide. I pray that you will just expose the demons for who they are and what they are, Lord. Hallelujah, 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 Lord. I praise your holy name. I lift you up in praise, Lord. I love you, Jesus. I pray that you will touch each and every one of the people that went in for surgery this week, Lord. We pray that you will give them a complete healing, that you will take the discomfort that they're going through, Lord, that you'll just heal them. Most importantly, Lord, we pray for the spiritual healing. That's the most important. I know that we are winners whether we go or whether we stay. The physical body, Lord, is nowhere near as important as the spiritual. I love you, Lord. Until we meet again, we give you all praise, honor, and glory. In Jesus' name, in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, guys. Well, you all, Miss Tanya, is it Tanaya? Tell me. Thank you, Lord, for bringing people like Elizabeth and Gavin in my life. They help victims and reveal truth. Amen. Not all. All right, y'all. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace out, Girl Scout. Love you all. Bye.
You can't hide from hillbilly crime.
You can't hide from hillbilly crime.
You can't hide from hillbilly crime.
You may not know that there's a crew in town. The head hillbillies are making their rounds. Small town whispers loud and clear. The sheriff shot the judge in his chambers chair.
Sheriff got a secret he won't keep. Judge shot dead in his disbelief. A lot of people have some stories to tell. Dark pass away, get the sound of a shotgun shell.
All the secrets spill on down. Voices loud in this old town. From the courthouse to the ground. Rumors fly and they can't be bound.
Neighbors hide behind their blinds. Whisper tales of troubled minds. Skeletons covering the mountainside. A treacherous reality in the pines.
Winter reveals the hidden lies. Moonlight couldn't mask the cries. Shadows caught in sunlit skies. There's no cover, no